Hi everybody, how are you guys doing today? I hope you're all doing great as I am, because I am very excited today. And you know why? Because I'm gonna tell you a story. I'll be telling you guys a story, or some stories, and I hope you enjoy them. So this is the very first video of our channel, 女儿国. And like all good beginnings, we start with a good story. So let's begin. Our story takes us way back to 3,800 years ago. And 3,800 years ago, there was a kingdom from the stars, far away. And this kingdom descended from said stars down the Milky Way and into our solar system, and upon this world that we know oh so well today, except that was 3,800 years ago. So, this kingdom landed on a rainbow bridge between heaven and the earth, and on this kingdom resided the descendants of the phoenix. Yes, descendants of the phoenix. And this kingdom was ruled by a young queen called the Phoenix Master. And by the Phoenix Master's side was the great guardian of this kingdom. And that guardian is none other than not a lion. I'm sorry. Not a lion, but rather a great golden white deer. And this deer was protector of not only this kingdom from the stars, but also the inhabitants of this kingdom, the souls of these girls. Yes, girls. You see, this kingdom was an all-women kingdom. At least 3,800 years ago it was. And this kingdom of women was called the Kingdom of the True Daughters. Or in Chinese, we would call it 女儿国. Well, this isn't the first time there's ever been a mention of an all-women kingdom in history. In fact, in culture and literature, there's always been this sort of fascination about groups of women living together, menless, like not with men. One very good example of this would be the island of Lesbos, an island of women and an island of love. If any of you guys have read the poetry of Sappho, you would know about this island of women and love. And you would also know that this is actually where the word lesbian comes from. And then there's also this other story that's quite famous about the Amazon women from Greek mythology. So this is a group of female warriors who live together and are ruled by their queen from the capital city of Themyscira, and it's also home to the very famous Wonder Woman of the big screen today. You'd have to live under a rock not to have heard of her. And then there's also, if we fly to the other side of the world, in East Asia, in Chinese classical literature, we have Journey to the West, 西游记. There is also a story about a kingdom of women called 女儿国, coincidentally sharing a similar name to the kingdom in question, topic of today's story. So, in Journey to the West, this is a country of women that heroes encounter by accidentally drinking from this kingdom stream. And what's so cool about that stream is that's where women drink from when they come of age. So when they hit 20, they go drink there and they become pregnant. No men needed. But this is the interesting part. The main characters were men, they were male, and when they drank from this sacred pregnancy stream, they got pregnant as well, and that's how they discovered the kingdom of 女儿国. Or I think it had a different name in the book, or it goes by different names. So these are the stories and legends of kingdoms of women in in mythology. But what would it look like today in the 21st century? So let's go back to our earlier story, the kingdom from 3,800 years ago. What would it look like in the 21st century? Is it still here? Yes. In the same way? Not quite. But the 21st century is a really interesting century.
The 21st century, a world of advanced capitalism, the internet, and 3,800 years after the fact of our kingdom's descent from the stars. I am here to tell you that the kingdom has awakened. You see, in Chinese, we call this century the century of the Kun Tao, or the feminine way, which implies that there will be continuous improvement of women's rights, increased frequency of women in positions of power and leadership, and gradual progress in opening up the arena of women in society. And as for 女儿国, it started calling out its people. And what kind of people is it calling out to? I would say lost, absolutely lost people who are probably pretty special, sometimes magical, and destined for greater things and fueled by this strong yearning to return to who they truly are. And that sounds pretty abstract, but I want to describe what it's like because there are more people than you might imagine who feel that way. So what does it feel like when one's soul starts to stir and wake and seek out the path that belongs to it or belongs to you? In classical YouTube fashion, here are the 6 signs that your soul might be stirring and waking up. First, you tend to sleep poorly. Sleeping becomes very difficult, and I know a lot of people who haven't had any decent sleep since the whole soul shebang started until they managed to become aware of it and acknowledge the fact, and then they were able to get their sleep back. Second, work becomes unbearable, like a really, really unbearable chore. And it's not even that you don't want to do it, but it's almost as if you just can't bring yourself to do it anymore. Third, it becomes harder to get along with colleagues or friends or the people that you're used to in your life, sometimes even family members. You just simply don't quite know how. Fourth, you're almost always feeling lost and tired all the time, constantly. Even on days when theoretically you ought to feel well rested. And 5, you feel frustrated and you feel like your life is particularly trouble-ridden compared to your peers or friends. You start wondering, is there something wrong with me? Is it my problem? Why does it feel like nothing seems to go well, even when things are kinda going well? It feels like you should be doing something else and you can't do anything properly because of it, but at the same time you don't know what it is you ought to be doing exactly. It's very frustrating. Does this ring a bell for you guys? If it does, comment down below and let me know. And maybe we can help you find out. But how can we help you out, you might ask? We can do that through a process called intuitive readings, using different tools of divination. And we'll have a special episode particularly about this so we can figure it out exactly what it is and how it might be of help to you.
So there you have it, divination. It could be labeled as occult in the West or fortune telling in the East, but it's actually much, much more than that. It's the kind of divination that really dives into your innermost, truest self to find the divine in you. That's divination. And so this is the form that our kingdom takes at this day and age, at the turn of the 21st century. a kingdom not only between heaven and earth, but also a kingdom between believing and not, between seeing and not. This is the kingdom of the true daughters, and this is 女儿国.
Hi guys, thank you so much for listening to our story. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification. And please look forward to more content in the future, because whatever this is, it's only the beginning of something really, really exciting. I hope you all have a good day. Bye bye.